I forgot to mention, I'll drop the image when we're live.
Okay.
That's your cue.
Oh, that's the cue, Derek. Derek, what are we doing here, man?
I'll never make it in show business. That's why I'm a comic book artist.
Hey. Oh, well. You're Derek Rook.
And you're Steve Van Samson.
And we are from
Rough House Publishing.
What he said. And we're here to talk about some Gore Shriek Resurrectus 3+1.
Yep, the
2
third
plus
in
1.
a trilogy of anthology horror comics published by our company, and you're listening to Splash Pages.
Splash Pages.
Is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you as always, and we're going to do a little different. We'll drop it over to Drew first.
I'm Drew. I don't know why I'm first, but hey. So, welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's June. So, we got that going for us, which is nice. We have a great show. We have some fantastic guests. We have news. We got a lot, man. There's a lot going on here. I don't know what more to say than that. So I'm going to go to the next person, which I believe is Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, I think that's me. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm having a rough day, but that's okay because we got Rough House in the house. Some of my favorite people of all time. Rat Huskers are going to do the drinking tonight because I had a little bit too much last night. But yeah, so do you guys know about these two fabulous guests that we have? They are two of my favorite people in the entire world. We have Derek Rook coming up, who is a comic book artist, illustrator, co-owner of the Rough House Publishing, and all-around amazing guy in the publishing stuff. We also have, and I don't have to say it weird, Steve Van Samson, who is an author, an artist, a musician, a narrator, and just all sorts of everything. And they are two of the most metal men on the planet. So please give it up, guys, for our Roughhousians.
Woohoo!
Roughhousians.
Woo! In the house.
Yeah, did
Oh,
Carrie
well.
just coin that or Roughhousians? Okay, I like that.
Yeah. I think we usually go ruffians. But I am not correcting you. We can be roughhousians tonight, Carrie.
Oh boy. But but Carrie, is it rough house like the American, or is it like house like HAUS? You know, which I feel is a bit more formal.
House.
You know, it's very, you know, is that I'm just making sure, just in case I have to type this up later. You know.
Now you can look at Steve's shirt and it'll show you.
Oh wait,
How to
look at my
spell it.
shirt. Look what I can do with the shirt. Watch.
Oh.
What's that down there? Oh!
Great. Now we have no Steve for the show.
Oh my God, no, Derek,
I'm back.
it's all on you, man. The fate of the world.
Oh
The
my
fate
God.
of the
My shoulders are so heavy, Drew. You don't even know.
You know what? I think you can do it, man. You've already got some nice hair. You know, you've got that going for you.
All right, well,
So, Steve, always good to see you, man. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You know,
Always good to see you.
Yeah, and Derek, I feel like this is like the Graham Norton. It's like, thank you for joining us on the show. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
thank you back. I appreciate it.
Exactly. You know,
I've heard so much about you guys over
welcome back.
over the months. I'm really happy to finally see what the show is all about and hang out with you guys and spend some time.
Whoa,
Yeah, totally.
how'd we do? Like, did you enjoy the show, or you're like, this guy's a little overrated? That
This is
one guy
it.
talks
It's done.
way
We're
too
done.
much.
Well,
That-
for the 15 seconds that I've been on the show, it's been amazing so far. And you guys
Okay.
have the best opening credit sequence I've ever seen for a podcast fucking ever.
That's
Yeah.
that guy.
It's really
Right there.
good.
That was
That-
rock and roll. That was awesome.
He's
Yeah,
he's
not only Star Wars and Transformers, I'm also the tech guy. So it's
yeah.
I think Keyboard
you're Tony
Monkey
Stark
does not
figure.
give you the credit that you deserve. Leo.
he you know what, he does the modesty thing, because I feel like if he doesn't, he would just be a supervillain level of an ego. He was like, you know, I am the best. Everything else, you all couldn't dial a pizza.
I
You
can't
know?
imagine a universe in all of the multiverse, and I've seen both seasons of Loki like 3 times each, and I cannot
boy.
imagine one of those thinking universes where Leo is that guy. I don't know. He's just a walking hug. You guys just need to leave him
I
alone.
feel like there's an evil podcast where he's just like that, and I'm probably a mute, and Carrie is like a sorority girl. Like, I'm just thinking the polar opposites. Like, actually, not even having a mute, I'm a dude bro. Like, it is just, we're just the worst other sides of ourselves.
And you hate Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you know, fuck that. I love the 2016.
He's a total brony. And
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolute
Yeah.
brony. Yeah, fucking love that. Friendship forever, bitch. Like, yeah, let's go. Let's do shots for friendship. Let's go. Let's get nuts. You know, and
Shots for
Leah. And,
friendship, whatever.
yeah, exactly. But well, thank you. It's very nice, Derek. I'm always kind of curious. We're like, I watched the show. I'm like, why? You
Well,
know,
hopefully people are watching the show
You
right
know-
now.
The guitarist after every show, people would go up to him and say, "I loved your show tonight," and he'd be like, "Why?" So
why?
I get that a lot.
Well, it's because one of our rotating hosts, Mahana, who's probably watching this right now. What up, MJ? She approached us at Trivicon. She was like, "Oh my god, I'm a big fan of the show," and we're all like,
Yeah.
This show?
"Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You guys,
are so
you guys
funny."
do a great job. You guys stop with the self-deprecating stuff. You guys are good.
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you want me to interview you tonight? Would that make you feel better, Drew?
No. We're no.
All right.
Excuse me, Stephen. We are here for you and him. Okay, this is not me. Okay, let's not. No. So,
Okay.
so, so, Steve. I mean, we've had you on. We've read your work. Derek, how did you get into everything? You know, like did you pick up a Stephen King book at 4 and just be like, no, and it just wrecked you?
So I don't exactly. That's a good question. I know that when I was young, I lived with my mother. My mom and dad were divorced, and my mother, when we got cable finally, did a very, very terrible job of policing that device. And I saw a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have seen at that age. And, you know, back then, the only social media that we had was in the schoolyard the day later. So like you hear kids talk, you know, at the time there was like 15 movies that would play on Cinemax on a loop over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like how many times can everybody say that they saw Beastmaster, right? But I remember some of the other kids talking about like these really, really crazy movies they saw. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? You know? And then I'd finally have to like pretend that I was asleep, but not really. And just watch these things with one eye open. I just got a taste for, I mean, I've always kind of loved monsters and stuff like that. Even when I was super, super young, that was the kind of thing that I would used to draw and everything. But yeah, no, I was just always fascinated with things that you couldn't see in real life that were horrific. I loved to be scared. And it was a lot easier when I was young. That's one of the things that I miss now that I'm older, is that it's just very, very difficult to like really shake me up. And when a movie gets to do that, I am just in love with it. It's like being on the best roller coaster ride there is. But yeah, like it, as far back as I can remember, it's always been horror. It's been a lot of other things too, but it's just something that I just can't live without. It's like this endless rush that I'm just falling in love with.
You know what, Leo? I always feel so bad for you because I feel like you are the least person who is about horror, and that yet you.
When I was a kid, I enjoyed, you know, horror. It's just, you know, the horrors of life have, you know, taken that away from me. Like I can't, you know, watch it now. So
Well,
it's a fucked up story,
yeah,
but you know, that's what
yeah,
it is.
But okay, so Derek, let me also ask one more question, just because I like meeting fellow horror aficionados. What do you feel in horror, maybe it's a movie or anything? What do you feel that everybody's like, oh my God, this is so great? And you're like, he's like, it's not.
Like a film?
Or yeah, like a film or like a film or a fad or like a concept in horror that you feel like if you could do differently, you'd be like, yeah, you know what? Can we not? Or it's like, it's not as cracked up as it is, you know?
Oh, dude, Jesus.
I'll give you an example.
Barbara Walter questions already, you know.
No, I know, but like, I'll give you an example. Like me, personally speaking, I think It Follows was really overrated.
It Follows.
Well, yeah.
I think that the concept of It Follows bleeding over into all these other movies like The Grudge and even Smile and stuff like that, that whole thing, or The Ring for that matter, it's all stemmed from like that J-horror movement where, you know, you get something haunted or you experience something that you shouldn't have experienced, and it somehow infects your family or infects you, and like 5-7 days, whatever it is, whatever the concept is, you just succumb to whatever this evil is. And I think that some movies have done it better than others. I thought It Follows, as an example, it was a decent, you know what? I always said that whoever did the soundtrack to that movie should have been a person who did the soundtrack to a true Halloween remake. Like if they were going to reset the line and just do it from scratch. And whoever that director was, and I don't remember the name, had a really, really cool visual style. I think the two of them together, if they were to make a Halloween movie, would be awesome. But to answer the question that you asked, I mean, if I gave myself some time to think about it, I could certainly better answer. But zombie movies in general, I tend to be very critical of, because zombie movies are like bad Elvis impersonators. None of them look like Elvis, but they all look like each other. And, you know, it's just after a while, like the zombies wear their selves, their id, like a costume, you know. So it's just very rinse, wash, repeat. I think that, to be honest with you, I would love to see an Ari Aster zombie movie, and not with any of the traditional tropes, but I think what we lost in that genre, in my personal opinion, is the absolute hopelessness and dread of the entire situation. I think
Mhm.
they've all turned into kind of action movies or versions of action movies where there's some sort of bravado coming from the protagonists. Like, imagine if something like that happened in real life. If something like that happened, then it would either denounce the existence of God or it would prove it. So, how would that affect that on a religious level with all these different people? How would it affect, people that we live in a society where there is no monsters, there are no creatures. We've never seen Loch Ness, we've never seen Bigfoot, but we've seen people who have, quote unquote. If we had this phenomena, even if it wasn't life threatening, how would it affect the world? I think that's a movie that could potentially be very horrific and that we haven't seen yet.
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, I'm thank you, because now I'm never gonna I'm gonna see another zombie movie like, here's Elvis again.
Yeah.
Like
we do have a new one coming out soon, right? 28 years later.
Yeah, that's coming out this summer.
Yeah.
And
apparently
even though it's not a zombie movie proper, I have loved that series so far, and I'm really interested into where they're going with this series. They've talked about how not only how have we evolved as a society and kind of rebuilt over those 28 years, but how have the infected evolved and changed over that time. That's what I'm most interested in seeing when these movies do come out.
Well,
because I guess they're going to do a trilogy.
And I feel like, and it's funny because talking about like horror, I feel that the thing that I feel with a lot of modern horror is that it doesn't have the same kind of level of rewatchability that a lot of older horror does. Like, for example, zombie movies, one of my all-time favorites is the Dawn of the Dead remake. And anytime people criticize Zack Snyder, I was like, he did that, and that I fucking love. Not just because the whole thing is just great and everyone in it is fantastic, but the script is genius. So then when I learned James Gunn did the script, I was like, oh, no fucking wonder it was so goddamn quotable. But I still love rewatching it. There are still moments of it I still get visually like the first 20 minutes are still creep me out. I was like, wow, this is so well paced.
Everything up to that opening credit sequence was fantastic.
Oh my God. I just remember even Romero said that. He was like, yeah, that was perfect. Then the movie just kind of did his thing. But no, I absolutely agree. I only asked especially because, you and Steve then created, Gore House. So I just kind of wanted to know, how far your roots went in your tree of horror.
My roots are firmly planted.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
So I guess another question is, how did the idea start? Were you and Steve just having dinner and you're like, we should do publishing. We should totally do publishing. All right, cool. And then, hey, were you serious? Because I was totally serious. And that's how it started.
So some history is needed here, Derek. I think he doesn't.
I don't. I know.
I hopped on way late, so I am not ground level by any means. And neither is Derek in the terms of the title Gore Shriek, which is actually a comic book that existed in the 80s. It was actually part of the indie black and white kind of horror boom that happened, where, these indie companies were doing it black and white, really punk rock style, getting really violent, really, in some cases, really, really rude and gory and just nasty. And Gore Shriek was a title that launched, some careers. I mean, it launched Greg Capullo for sure. Greg, it was an anthology book where lots of different writers would come on and lots of different artists would come on. At the first couple issues, a lot of it was written by the same couple of people. Tom Schoolin, who's the guy who started the book, Fantico Enterprises is his company. He published it, and he was one of the main writers in the first few issues. It was a really well done, Twilight Zone for horror sort of a book. And some of those we lump it into this extreme horror category, and certainly the covers make you think that way, and the name and all this stuff, but not every story in Gore Shriek was like that. I mean, there's plenty of stories that weren't gory at all. In fact, there was a number of really unsettling tales that really just made you think, and it's really worth tracking down those issues if you guys have never read them. They're really good. They really hold up. So that was kind of the background. And then Derek, if you want to take it, with Gore Shriek Resurrectus, it's a licensed book as a matter of fact,
while you guys were talking, I found one of my original Gore Shrieks right here.
Nice.
This is what they looked like back in 1986. And they came out, they're very sporadic. I think the entire run of the books were only 13 issues from the time of inception to the time where they canceled out, and that covered almost like a 10-year period. But when I started, way back when I first started, we were doing movie adaptation horror comics, and specifically stuff that was very underground, especially at the time, like a lot of European horror stuff. A lot of Italian horror stuff like Fulci Zombie, Gates of Hell. We did Phantasm. We did an issue of Phantasm as a comic book. We did the Halloween. We had the Halloween license for one project. So that was kind of like the thing that we were doing that nobody else was doing at the time. Now everybody does it. But that's kind of my first foray into publishing, and that's when you're dealing with a lot of other entities that are trying to put these things together, you find yourself very much out of control. You find yourself just kind of blowing through the wind in the ether in hopes that the project will stay funded, and kind of like independent film, I would imagine, right? Everybody's hoping that the thing is actually going to get finished. It's actually going to come out. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's just dead in the water halfway through. So the concept of trying to publish our own stuff was very appealing. It wasn't very easy to do 20 years ago, but it's become much, much easier now. And Rough House specifically, that was founded in 2011. And that was me coming out of a hiatus. I had not done anything art-wise or comic-wise in quite a long time. Mm-hmm. And then we started doing adaptions of defunct horror comics. That was our whole thing. And that's where Gore Shriek ended up coming up. Gore Shriek had a 30th anniversary at the time that we did our issue, which was called Gore Shriek Resurrectus. The idea is that we would go to these defunct old independent companies and resurrect their comic book properties. We thought that was a cool little niche, and it was definitely in our wheelhouse of the type of horror that we were doing, which is kind of, for the lack of a better term, exploitation horror, like extreme horror stuff. And that's right around the time that Steve got involved. We met at a convention. I was doing the convention by myself. I had the Rough House booth set up, and Steve, I think you were with was that the New England Horror Writers, or were you by yourself for that one?
Nope.
New England Horror Writers.
New England Horror Writers. Yep.
And Steve came over, introduced himself, and it just so happened to partner somebody who kind of shared the same sensibilities. But I also wanted to diversify what I do best. And that's also where Steve came along. Steve was a writer, but he's also a graphic designer. He's also a novelist. So the fruits on the vine were very ripe for the next phase of what we wanted to do. And that's how Steve and I met. And that's still what we're doing to this day.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Nicely. Yeah, that was very succinct. It's got a good, you guys probably would do a really nice audiobook together.
We
guys
did.
got very good narrators.
He narrates, actually. Yeah, you can have Steve read Mark of the Witchwyrm, as well as he's got. God, I just had you putting me to sleep a couple of weeks ago with Not that you
Oh,
put me to sleep.
don't say
but
that. Don't
I
say the
listen to
title.
books when I go
Yeah,
to
I
sleep.
was like,
Title.
Harry,
Nothing
If it
from
puts you
Rough
to
House
sleep.
ever
Yeah,
puts
no.
you to sleep.
Yeah, no. It was listening until I fell asleep, or listening and then falling asleep afterwards. I always like to, it winds my brain down at night.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Yeah,
It's,
I've done
we'll
some.
just skip that.
I've done some since. But yeah, I've done some other books since. But for the audiobook of Mark the Witchwyrm, Derek is actually on that. He introduces it. He does the chapter headings and the ending credits, I believe, as well.
Yeah, and Steve. So let's kind of segue that a little bit. I often try not to say that we're a comic book company or even just we're called Rough House Publishing, but the idea behind what we do is we want everything that we invent and produce and release to appeal to the collectors in all of us. We wanted it always to be a very analog experience. So we always wanted it, it's very easy to offer digital comics and, just make that transaction very, very easy for half the price. And then somebody can go and flip a PDF on their computer or their phone or whatever. But we wanted to create something with all of our books, no matter what it is, whether it's a novel, comic book, whatever. Is we wanted to create an experience that was very similar to when we were all younger and we would get hyper excited about a new release, whether it be an album or a book or a movie coming out or whatever it was. So everything that we do, we stuff with as much fun things as we can so that you're not just getting a comic book. If you open it up, all sorts of stuff. We'll get into it with Gore Shriek Resurrectus. But with Mark of the Witchwyrm, we did a whole audiobook just for that. And Steve is the narrator and he is the author. And we added music to it from Steve's old band. And we just try to stay as creative as possible. And like every time we come up with a new project, the conversation, the war room conversation that we ultimately have is, what do we want this to be? What do we want to put in it? How many covers do we want it to have? How many extras do we want them to have? And what are they going to be compared to the last book that we did? So, if you get one of our books, as an example, you can get an audiobook too. You can get posters. We've done enamel pins. We've done, we'll get into it. I don't want to spoil what we're doing for Resurrectus, but we've done a bunch of stuff just to keep it so that when you buy it, you're more apt to want to keep it than flip it on eBay, say.
It is so much fun opening up envelopes from Rough House Press. Rough House Publishing. I just go insane. You get these. Okay, I'm going to work on my phrasing this time. You get this incredibly large envelope that comes in your post, and then when you tear into that fucker, it's just like Christmas come early. There is so much stuff to go through and just check everything out. And I totally said it without being very inappropriate that time. But
I don't know why. You should have just.
Okay, so you get this big black package in the box.
Yeah.
And
there it is.
and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Boy, do I love tearing it.
Boom! Drop the mic.
She's not wrong.
Drew, get out. Get out, Drew. There.
Well, and then they will floor.
But yeah, no, you put so much thought into every little thing that goes into all of the things. It's so much fun to order, and you don't charge a lot. Like I pay the same amount for an Ultimate Edition Gore Shriek. It's going to give me so much time. I'm going to have just like rooms dedicated to you in my house if I ever move out of this place. Currently, you're taking up like half my closet, but so it doesn't get damaged. But like it's just insane, and I get all this stuff, and then if I go to some other companies and purchase a book, it's like you get one hardback book that might come in the press damaged a little bit for the same price that you spent or more on getting like a shit ton of fun in a big black package. So yeah,
You have it, kids. Well,
You
Guys,
can't say it better than that.
we're working on
Go on.
filling up the other half of your closet too. So, save some room because there's some more stuff coming. All of which,
Oh, yeah.
if you put it in the right context, sounds extremely inappropriate.
Ah,
We are an
Exceptionally.
exploitation company after all.
I have so much fan Samson in my closet. It's just crazy. It's
And his big black package.
All right.
It's on its way.
yep, and it's all wrapped up. So
Well, don't
I
get
didn't even
chased
know I was
by
in the
that
closet.
thing.
So this is what I can't wait for now, because I had to get the first
Hot
two.
sauce.
Yeah, the black honey hot sauce was really good.
yeah, it was.
I
Thank you.
still have some of that I'm using.
Thank you.
It's still
Shout
one
out
of my
to
favorite
our
hot sauces ever.
yeah.
And I know I'm
So
biased
good.
to say that, but these hot sauces were made and designed from scratch just for us. So when Steve and the folks from Silk City Hot Sauce, specifically Jeff Levine, the owner, kind of started brainstorming, they came up with an amazing sauce. I mean, I went through all of mine, I think, in a week.
I understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for you guys to see what's next with that too. There's some more coming out in that vein as well, not related to what we're doing with Gore Shriek 3, but man, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Any
But
hints?
to kind of hop on what Steve was saying, Gore Shriek Resurrectus has been something that's been in our lives for a long time. We did our first of the 3 issues. Hey, Drew, how you feeling?
I'm good. I mean, he didn't tell me I could come back, so I was just chilling. That's the thing. People don't understand. When I tell them to get out, all they was like, "Can I come back?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you're good."
I feel terrible. I'll just start from the beginning again. And,
No, you're good.
hi, I'm
I
Derek
was
from
listening
Rough
the whole
House
time. I was
Publishing, and you're listening to Silver Screen
Splash
Podcast.
Pages.
good.
Welcome to Splash Pages, kids.
But Gore Shriek Resurrectus is something that's been in our lives for a long time. Our first issue came out in 2016, the second one in 2019, and now we're doing what we're marketing as the final issue, the death knell issue of the series. And like Steve said, they're all different stories on the inside. We have different artists and writers. Steve did 3 stories in this in particular issue. I did a lot more art in this issue than I have other ones, depending on how busy I am with the administrative side of things. But I think we've really come up with what we always wanted this series to kind of turn into, which I wanted to almost have our books are very premium looking and feeling books. We put a lot of time and effort into just down to the paper that we use and the printing that we choose and everything else. We want everybody to have more for their money all the time, like Carrie was saying. But we also wanted this one to be a lot more art centric. We wanted to skip all the graphic design tricks that sometimes makes the project go a little bit faster or whatever, and we tried to take out as much of that shorthand as possible and really try to give you guys that experience of getting like a 1970s black and white head shop comic book, something that was almost hand drawn all the way down to the logo. We didn't go that far, but it definitely feels that way. And we flooded it this time, especially with as much artwork as we possibly could from cover to cover. And of course,
And something that
we'll get into the extras, but we gave this one so many extras that, I'm not sure if I'll have a full head of hair by the time this is all over. But I think we pulled out all the stops with this one. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, for sure. And something we haven't said at all is that all along with the Resurrectus line, something that you started before I even met you was getting as many people from the original book to come back and
Yes.
work on it, do something. In some cases, it was a matter of like, well, I don't do comics anymore. Sorry. And other cases, it's like, well, I can give you. This is what I'm able to do. And then in other cases, it's like, oh my God, Gore Shriek, I'll do whatever you want. Like, these people were excited to be back on this book that they started their career on, back in mid 80s, late 80s. And not Greg Capullo. We didn't get Greg Capullo back, but
No, we would have to mortgage
can't
the house
afford
for
that
him.
guy. But yeah, but
Oh, God.
lots of other people, and I mean, some did covers, and in this particular issue, this third issue, so many of the extras are have the art of this guy, the Gurch, and he's this mysterious, amazing, absolutely freaking insane. Can we swear on splash pages?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. This fucking amazing artist, this guy, like nobody knows what he looks like, but he got a start on the original Gore Shriek, I guess, and oh my God, the art that he did for us for this third issue. He's been, I think, in every one, right, Derek? Was he in all three?
He wasn't on the first issue. So
Okay.
the first issue we were focusing on getting like Bruce Spalding Fuller back, which was the original Gore Shriek artist. He did the very iconic front cover for the first issue. He ended up being a special effects artist in Hollywood. He's famously on that documentary called Lost Souls, the making of, or the doomed making of the island of Dr. Moreau. He met Val Kilmer. He has stories about Val Kilmer being interesting on the set and everything else in that documentary. But started off with Gore Shriek, like Steve said, Greg Capullo got his start there. A lot of younger but still more seasoned artists were jumping on board with Gore Shriek, like Steve Bissett, who went on to do Swamp Thing. Chaz Ballin, who's no longer with us, but he was kind of like one of the first influencers of today back then in horror, who was always involved in this kind of fanzine style horror making and producing pulp media, and plenty of others. Eric Stanway, I could go on forever and just kind of name them off. But one of the things we wanted to do with our issue is not just fill it like, again, I don't know what everyone's comic book sensibilities are when they're just going out and buying comics, but they resurrected Tales from the Crypt a while back. They resurrected Creepy in the last 10 years, I think it was. And a lot of people said the same thing. It's in name only, but it feels like a modern comic. It feels like it came out today. So what we tried to do when we were choosing our artists is really find the art. I was joking about Elvis impersonators, how they all look like each other. It's very easy to find artists whose stylings are from the modern era. They're from today. And they all are great. We wouldn't hire anybody who wasn't, but they do have a tendency to kind of ape off each other's stylings and everything else. And that's not that uncommon, but we really went out of our way to find some unique, individual styled, independent comic book artists. And I think we succeeded in all three issues. And the Gurch was in the second issue and the third. And again, like Steve said, he's from across the pond. I've never met him in person. He's one of the most gentlemanly style human beings that I've ever talked to on AOL. But so be it. It's been a great experience. This new issue, this final issue, we really wanted to pull out all the stops. We wanted to make this the biggest event out of the three issues. We loaded this thing up with extras that we can talk about in a little bit if you'd like. And we just really wanted to make this a celebration of the entire series.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
God,
Absolutely.
God, Carrie, he's so succinct, man. I don't have any questions.
That's why they call him Succinct Derek Rook. That's why they call him that. That's why.
Yes, I forgot to put my my nickname on the tagline.
So with the pre-orders, looks like several covers have already sold out. When is the release?
So the release is when it's actually finished, but we are edging very, very close to it being there at this point. We're working with multiple vendors on top of just our in-house folks. But to answer your question, right now we're looking at early midsummer, somewhere in there.
Nice. And for the rest of the pre-orders, is there anything close to being sold out? Like, what should people run out and get right now?
So some have already sold out. So some of the stuff you're looking at is the older issues. Out of the first issue that we did, we had 3 separate covers. 2 of those 3 have sold out for good. And we're down to I think under 100 of the last cover. So the first issue in general is very close to being sold out forever. Our second issue had 2 covers. One has been sold out for a long time. And when I say covers, that usually means that there were certain extras that were very specific to those individual books that have also gone instinct with the cover in right. question. So right. For this new issue, Gore Shriek Resurrectus Volume 3, we did 2 separate covers. And with each of the 2 covers, we have its own set of extras. So you can buy one cover with a set of extras or the other cover with a different set of extras. We are also offering for this promo a original artwork sketch for the purchase. So you'll choose your cover and we'll do an original sketch for you as well. And that'll come with all of the respective extras for that cover. And then we have a blowout one, which is called the Ultimate Edition, which has everything that each individual book offers, the covers, the extras, everything. And then we threw even more extras on top of that are very exclusive just to the Ultimate Edition. So we just wanted to make every experience, whatever price point that people chose, to be very unique to them, and they're always getting something. It's not like Carrie said, it's not just like you're getting a hardcover versus a soft cover, or just one cover versus another. You're getting a whole different experience every time you purchase.
Which is why that we offer something like the Ultimate Edition, because you can get every cover, sure, and lots of us comic collectors, we all collect the different covers, even if that's the only difference. We love doing that. That's a thing. But for us, like Derek just said, each cover is going to have its own set of extras. So really, if you get the Ultimate Edition, you're actually getting the full complement of every extra, and you get the covers obviously as well. But right. Again, it's just another measure trying to add value to something. Yes, the cover can be an incentive, but why stop there? Why not give a bunch of different stuff as well? So that's how we do.
And if
that's definitely how we do.
If you're me, you have to order the Ultimate Edition as well as the sketch card edition, because the sketch card itself does not come with the Ultimate Edition, just so that you guys know at home. So if you want to have some original artwork by this man here drawn for you, you have to go and get that one as well. And you'll be glad that you did. You'll have so much Rough House and so much Gore Shriek around your house. You'll be a happy little camper. Trust me. Maybe a slaughtered little camper, but a very happy one.
And to be fair, we when we say sketch card, we don't mean like a scribble that takes 5 seconds. Right. I mean, they're really illustrations. Any one of these quote unquote sketches could be its own Gore Shriek cover. So again, that's our way of giving people just much more for their money. We understand that everyone's budget is tight, especially now. Everything is completely upside down. So we want, for a change, we want somebody to buy something that at the end of the day, they're like, wow, we got taken care of. We got so much good shit here that it's going to take us a couple of days just to get through it all. And that makes both Steve and I very happy. Like when we're, especially at the conventions and we're getting to meet some folks face to face, when they learn what they've bought, and they, sometimes they go away from the table, open it up, and then they come back afterwards and like, dude, I didn't realize there was all this stuff inside. Whatever, but that really does make the experience worth it. And it is proof of concept that, you know, in a market that's saturated with self-publishers now. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that when I was doing it, not that many people were. It was very, very difficult to do financially. It was almost impossible. But now it's an embarrassment of riches. So anything that you can do to make yourself a commodity and make yourself stand out, that's what we're trying to do. People who love Tarantino movies go to see Tarantino movies regardless of what genre he writes in and directs in. So it doesn't matter if it's a Western or if it's a war movie or if it's a gangster movie. They're going to see it because he directed it and because he wrote it. It's another Tarantino experience, like him or not. And we're trying to do the same thing with Rough House. One of our books, the shirt that Carrie's wearing, Mark of the Witchwyrm, isn't even a horror book. It's a fantasy book, and it's our first novel. So that's kind of a double whammy. So again, in the spirit of diversifying our catalog, but still keeping it, quote unquote, the Rough House way. That was one example of the perfect marriage of what Steve brought to the table and what I bring to the table put together. That's what makes the Rough House experience work.
And that's totally different from what you know, most companies are doing now with like shrinkflation and everything, trying to give you, you know, less for more money. You know, it's a breath of fresh air to see, you know, you guys going above and beyond.
Well, thank you, man. It's a lot of work on the front end. That's why when people do the pre-orders, I'm always like, you know, I've learned my lesson. I've put out release dates, and then it goes by and it goes by and it goes by. And, you know, I always say now, please be patient. I even put it on the website that this is a pre-order item. We're working on making this thing the best thing it's going to be. And Steve and I have had fun conversations about this because we both pre-order stuff from other companies. And, you know, sometimes it comes right away. Sometimes it takes a year, you know, or something insane. So we really put the emphasis and the focus on making sure that the product is as advertised, if not better, because if it is, we will be forgiven if it takes a couple extra months for the book to actually get into your hands. So we try to stay as true to form as we can with the release dates. But again, when we're dealing with multiple vendors and a lot of moving parts, like for this book, we're doing another hot sauce, a new one. And that's being invented right now, and it's being cooked up right now, and all of the different accoutrement that goes with that. There's a Blu-ray in this one because we're fucking insane. Because you have to go, you know, the next one you're gonna get a free car. I'm gonna be like fucking Oprah, just like throwing out Rough House mobiles.
New car.
You know?
Next one, it's gonna be the bees. We're gonna release.
And you
Yeah.
get some gore, and you get some gore, and you get some gore.
right.
Is the car going to be a Toyota?
It's going to be a toy Yoda. Yes.
Yeah. For people that don't get it, there was a contest a while back. Yeah, where they advertised a Toyota, and it was a Toyota. Yeah.
Remember that? That was like 20 years ago, and it made like national news. The lady was pissed, and she like tried to sue the radio station or something because they gave her a toy Yoda.
Listen. People make the weirdest misconceptions over things, and then they try walking it back. I'm like, did that not strike you as odd? You know,
you got a free toy, okay? It wasn't the thing you wanted, but it was free. Your investment wasn't anything.
But it was probably the thing you needed. You know, who doesn't need a toy Yoda?
Indeed. Like I just don't get it.
No Toyotas here.
Yeah.
Brad Fosker runs the house. I don't think they'd get along very well. It would be bad.
What
bad
about a Grogu?
things.
What about a Grogu?
No. I've got the Crow. I've got Cthulhu. I don't think we need to bring any more. Like, I've got more horror things than anything else, and they would just kill all the Star Wars characters. I'm sorry, but Cthulhu versus Yoda, it's just not going to happen.
It's just
Sorry.
not fair. It's just not a fair fight.
It isn't. It isn't. I want to get just like I don't know what I'm going to do. There has to be something for like Azathoth. They're just like a giant bag that I don't know what would he's like a giant gooey bean bag out there in space, kind of, just wrapping around. I don't know how to make a puppet of that though. I think that would be rather weird. Yeah, and just hunting and fighting.
I think the way to go about it and to think about it is that you can't get it wrong.
Yeah,
there's no right way.
There's
no right way to do it, so you can't possibly screw it up.
Yeah.
I think you should try tonight. You can do it, Carrie. You can do it. I have faith.
Thank you. That's the thing else. These guys are inspiring, man. If you ever need a pick-me-up, like, just reach out and they'll be like, fuck yeah, get up, get on that horse. You're going to go out there and ride it. You're going to do it. You got this going.
Get on
you got
that
some very
horse.
supportive people here.
Yeah.
Rough House Publishing. That's why there's a...
Yeah.
Well, at least that's why I hope.
We're also horseback riding enthusiasts, so...
Oh, boy.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Maybe,
you're right, Steve?
True story.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
He
listen.
does dressage.
Leo, when they come to town, hell's coming with them, you hear? Hell's coming with them.
Hell,
okay?
Yes.
It's a real tombstone, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I wrote
we are collectively, we are your Huckleberry.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Damn, Carrie, do you have any? I'm kind of drawing a blank. Like, these guys are just such good storytellers. I could just listen to them talk. I feel like it's, we're getting an ebook right now of their endeavors.
Well, I think what I think we might want to do is. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Carrie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say we should go through, click on the release and look at the different things that do come in each bundle. Was kind of my thought. So, Leo, if you click on the first one, not the top, but the first one on the left there, it'll load up and we can kind of zoom in, hopefully, and go through and see all the different things that come with.
Sorry to interrupt you, Carrie. If you wanted to, in our press release section, the extras are much bigger. It might save you some time having to zoom.
All I knew now was boom.
Yeah,
I have got the. I sent that to.
You've got the magic in it?
Oh, you did? Was it in the downloads?
So
no.
You go to Gore Whom the Bell Tolls and click on that, and then just scroll down a little bit. You'll see about maybe halfway down. You'll see all the little things for the extras.
Oh,
a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit. There we go.
More.
All right. So tell us all about it. Yeah.
So, like we said, we're doing a bunch this time around, and we're trying to tie the extras into the book. So, a great, for instance, is we have a Gore Shriek / Ravenous guitar pick that we're doing for cover A, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but sorry, cover B. But one of the stories in Gore Shriek Resurrectus 3 is called Ravenous that Steve wrote. And I'll let Steve talk about it a little bit, but it was actually his idea for this in particular extra, which I thought was really cool.
Sure. So the story is actually set in the universe of a story that appears in a horror collection that we released in a couple of years ago, Black Honey, there's a story in there called Monster Financing Available. And the story of Ravenous actually is set in the same universe.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so there's just a fun tie-in. We have a few things like that in this book where we're kind of attaching to other things. That's where the Blu-ray comes into play as well, and stuff. But yeah, so this was this is a fun chance to connect to one of our other things, and I knew I wanted there to be like this this rock band that was like this metal band, rock band, whatever. And I based it on one of my friends, and I made up the name, and knew that had to be the name for the story. But I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Let's like design a logo for the band, and let's do a guitar pick. What do you think of that? And Derek loved the idea. We're both into the same basic direction of music, heavy rock and metal and other related things. But yeah, it was just like a fun idea that Roughhouse hasn't done before, totally different. So it was kind of a no-brainer. Fun. It's a two-sided thing. Fun designing both sides. So on one side it has the logo for this fake band that appears in the story Ravenous, and then on the other side is a logo for Gore Shriek Resurrectus 3 to remind you where you got the thing in case you forget. And yeah, that was really, really fun. And I think we decided on the green because we're both fans of Overkill. There's a are they from Jersey or are they New York?
They're from,
I think they're Jersey, right?
They're New York, but they record in Jersey, in Shrewsbury, New Jersey.
Yeah, we're just big fans of that band. They've been around since the 80s, and they're like thrash metal band, and their colors are black and green. So we ended up going with the green with the white, and pretty fun.
Yeah. And so we have a tabloid newspaper in this issue, which Steve wrote the entire thing. And the idea behind it is that it extends stories from Gore Shriek past. So, we're talking about 30, almost 40 years of Gore Shriek history. So to go through the tabloid, sometimes there's just like a blurb that says something that appeared in, say, the first issue in 1986. Or he wrote a brand new story. So it's almost like you're getting another story in prose form, in addition to the 7 stories that are in this issue of Gore Shriek Resurrectus Volume 3. So that's his kind of baby, that he wanted to kind of design it his own way. He did all the graphic design for it, did all the writing for it. I believe I'm not sure if you did some of the art. I think you did some of the artwork for it as well, all kind of thrown in there together.
I did some of the art for it, but most of the art is either original or it is specifically done by either you or the Gurch. The Gurch has actually at least 2 amazing pieces in this. He has the cover art, the cover story, the headline on the front page is art by the Gurch, and it was this crazy illustration. I mean, it's so insane. It's like this guy who's like sliced up his head and it's bolted back together. It's really small. You can see it in the on the website. It's just really small, but oh my God, it's this insane illustration, right? So, we decided we wanted that to be the cover story, but also that there would be a story to go with it. So that was the one truly original story that I wrote for this. It's just like a 2-pager. But every other bit, every single inch of this, I think it's 6 pages that we did of this tabloid, this fake tabloid, the Gorzette, the Ballin Gorzette, named for Chaz Ballin. Every single inch is a reference, even if you don't get it, like it's a reference. And most of it is referencing, as Derek said, the old issues from the 80s, and then some of the things are referencing Resurrectus stories. So one of the stories that we came up with in either the first 2 issues or this third one, in the case of one of the like just kind of headlines, there's because it's not the full paper, it's just 6 pages. So we thought it would be funny if some of the things kind of referenced pages that weren't there. So it's like, oh, here's the headline, turn to page 8, but it only goes to 6 kind of thing. And some of those are just quick references, and one of them is actually to the story Ravenous. But you have to, you wouldn't know it by what we've told you, but if you've read the story, you would get it. So it was a lot of fun creating this. I mean, just absolute joy creating this. And yeah, it was my the one thing I was really hoping we could do. I was really hoping we could do a tabloid, because it was something we hadn't done before. I'm just looking for that like newspaper rag that you would get in the supermarket aisle, like you're waiting and you'd see the National Enquirer or something like that. I'm like, oh, you imagine how cool that would be, and it's just so different. So I'm really, we haven't printed them as of yet. I'm dying to see them. But it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really special, and definitely something we haven't done, just like the guitar pick and, whatever else. But, we have fun, that really is, I think, the heart of all of it, for us is that this stuff is, like, we've said already tonight, this is all stuff we love. And it is a true labor of love. I mean, there's labor, like a lot of labor.
It's hard labor in this.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think that Derek's not gonna say this about himself, but like, the level of artwork that he's putting into this, and that other artists, we haven't mentioned other names, but we have some newcomers as well to this. Alex Sarabia, Michael Harper, Puis, what is his last name?
Puis Calzada.
Puis Calzada. Oh my God, this guy is absolutely, he's a Metallica artist. He's like actively works for Metallica.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he does like their tour shirts and stuff. And I mean, he's incredible. These people, absolutely nuts. Alex Arabia, he got, he drew all of Ravenous. And then Michael Harper drew a whole story. And so these are newcomers. These are people that Derek found and, fit into the vibe, but also the level that we were hoping to achieve with the quality of the artwork and stuff like that. So that's another thing that, yes, it takes a while to make something like this, but, there isn't, I think art suffers in comics because of deadlines. That's why I think that the common thing to do is to make a really pretty cover and then do a different level of quality on the inside. And that's not at all a dig on the artists that work on the inside. They are doing things to spec for X amount of dollars for X amount of time. I mean, you can't possibly do what, Steve Bissette did with Swamp Thing, in the 80s on the crunch that is currently put under these people are put under. It's just impossible.
Right.
So that's why I think interior art today is like, it's different than it used to be, big time different. And this kind of, it speaks to what Derek was saying earlier about like everything kind of seems like a copy of each other. They're all Elvis impersonators. It's a bummer that everything has to be so money driven, and we can't just take our time with things. And I sort of think back to the early days of Image, when you had all these passionate creators that were taking their time. And yeah, you had your Todd McFarlane that was able to make every deadline, and then you had other people, Dale Keown and stuff that weren't able to keep up as well, certainly with Pitt. But I mean, every time you open one of those books, you knew that you were going to dive into this incredible, sumptuous art, as well as the storytelling. And in the same way that Derek was talking about Quentin Tarantino, that was the same sort of thing. If you were following any of those Image guys back in the day, you're like, okay, well, every creator had their one main flagship book in those days, so you're like, oh, I like Savage Dragon. Well, that's all Eric Larson all the time, right? So
Right.
you know, whatever flavors you like, you're like, I love this whole thing so much. And so yeah, I mean, I think that you know, one of the things to take away from what we were able to accomplish with this series, with these 3 issues, is, you know, the level of quality that the original was already able to achieve. It's really like not a watered down version. We really tried as much as we could, and I think we succeeded in everywhere. You know, the people who came back knocked it out of the park. The people who we found that were new people knocked it out of the park. I mean, it really is. I think when people check these out, you're gonna agree. You know, these are works of dark art. And the new one is definitely the best. The new one's just good. The issue volume 3. Oh my god, guys, it's awesome. Wait till you guys see it.
Well, yeah.
We'll definitely have an unboxing for it when it comes in.
Oh yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
Nice.
We'll have to have you back for it because
Carrie won't let that slide. She won't let that stand. She's like, no.
no. Because I'm getting 2 big black packages this time, so
Oh my.
I'm
Whatever
getting
floats your boat.
personalized stuff. Well, I had to get some art from Derek, like personalized stuff, because
Yeah, she doesn't want to be
you know,
obviously accused of favoritism. She's got to make some effort.
I mean, I love you, Steve, but I got to get some extra Derek action too.
I mean, hey, you need the D. I get it.
Yes.
All right.
I do.
It's fine.
I mean, live alone.
Yep.
Oh
Got
my
a
God.
squirrel that I talk to. Shit.
So back to horror.
Yes, back to some of these things. Let's talk.
Back to the literary horror.
I didn't know we left.
No. Still there. you know, this just opened a puzzle box of just my own horror here. So, you know, just pinhead in it right now. Just, oh boy.
Yeah.
No, but
sights to show you.
Yeah, just such sights to show you.
Jesus Christ.
Not quite. Oh God. No, I'm trying to think of this.
Well, while you think, quick question. What's in the books for after Gore Shriek 3? Do you guys have any thoughts on what you want to work on next?
We do. So one of the things that Steve and I because we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. We want to. So when we're out on the road and we go and we bring these comics to the public, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, these folks are hearing about it for the very first time. So even though it's something that we are championing, we're raising the flag for. A lot of people just are like, Gore Shriek, I never heard of that before. The Dead, I never heard of that before. You know, whatever. So if that's going to be the case, we creatively, between the two of us, have all sorts of things that we would like to get out there. We have a bucket list of things, and we did a couple already of Steve's. But at the end of the day, you know, Steve's project or Derek's project, it's all Roughhouse at the end of the day. We want to go more in a creator-owned direction and a lot more individual stuff. And we want to stay diverse. Steve mentioned that we got some other things coming up. We're going to try to sell hot sauce as a collectible item as well. I tried to do that on my own once already, and I fell on my face. You got to kind of learn from your folks and learn from your market. Selling hot sauce by itself didn't sell one bottle. So what we're doing is we're doing a line of Roughhouse hot sauce, signature hot sauces, mild, medium, and hot. We're going to sell them in its own package together, and it's going to have a mini comic inside. That's going to be one of those, like, what do you call those blind boxes kind of things? So we're going to have 3 mini comics, and every time you buy this box and you open it up, one of those 3 mini comics is going to be inside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to have some fun with that too. Steve has had a series. The series that really kind of got us together, his Predator World series, is something that I have also been very passionate about as well. He has 2 books in that series already that he published on his own, and we wanted to do a roughhouse version of that, and a lot of
Preliminary.
half the time. Preliminary artwork has already been created for this stuff already. And, you know, we've just kind of been sitting on it as other projects and other opportunities have come our way. But, and Steve can talk more about it, but I'm really looking forward to doing that one as well. I have some creator-owned comic book stuff that I've been wanting to do. So whatever it is, I can almost guarantee, unless we get an offer from the outside, that most of the stuff you're going to see from us going forward is going to be all original.
Nice.
Okay. Very nice.
Bone Eater King in a comic form?
What's that?
So I don't think the plan
I was
is to
just
turn
going
it into
through
a
Bone Eater
comic. That would be so cool. And you know, who knows what we'll do in the future. But the what Derek was referring to is the idea is to re-release the first 2 books in that series as illustrated novels. So it's still the novel, but with new covers and interior artwork throughout, and who knows what else. Whatever we come up with, literally whatever we come up with. At this point, you know, we're concentrating on, you know, Gore Shriek and then the Hot Sauce Project. And the Hot Sauce Project is, you know, if that turns into something that people like, you know, that's, you know, we have a great relationship with Silk City Hot Sauce, and there's nothing saying we can't do more in the future. So the idea is to have sauces that are based on our titles. So we had Black Honey, so Black Honey will be available like commercially, not just as an extra for the book. Also, we're going to have a Roughhouse proper, like a company hot sauce, which is going to be the hottest version for sure, the hottest of all the sauces. And and then there's also going to be a Witchwyrm sauce as well. So, you know, who's to say we don't do more based on other projects? Who knows? You know, we're just kind of keeping it open, and like Derek said, you know, we love spitballing and just kind of having these you know, jam session idea sessions, and yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit as far as, you know, whatever we feel like, kind of thing. Definitely, you know, love to do more of the types of things that you've seen from us: comics, books, illustrated novels, short, long, whatever we decide. But always the constant is always going to be the values there with the extras as well. Not only are we making sure that the product itself is worth your time, that the story is worth your time, and the art is worth your time, and all of that is, you know, gonna be ready when it's ready, but also everything's always going to come with some extras. I mean, we did that with the novels as well, as Carrie knows and Drew knows. And, you know, that's never going to change. It wouldn't be Roughhouse if we didn't do that, and that's never going to go away. So, yeah, I think we're just going to keep rocking and shocking and see what happens, kind of a thing. But directly after Gore Shriek 3 is the Hot Sauce Project, and then we will see.
Hotter the better.
You know what you should what you should think about, and this is just me, my geekiness, you know, exploding here, but you know, if you're going to be doing a set of hot sauce, maybe do a 3D printed holder, like a horror themed, you know, holder for the hot sauce. You know, if somebody's going to keep it on their kitchen.
Wait, it's like a horror holster.
Yeah, for the hot sauce.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, like, I just see the commercial now too. You know, just, you know, that's hot, not hot enough. You know.
Well, by the way it rolls off the tongue, especially if it's being advertised in Central Massachusetts, it's going to come across very interesting. It'll be like whore hostess.
It's a whole host.
Come get our whole hosters. We got tons of them. We got one for 3 flavors, fucking hot kid. We got medium
Oh my
for your
God.
pussies, and we got mild for the grandmothers of the group. We got something for everybody in your fucked up family.
I could
Horror
just see-
hosters.
I could just see the call. So, see, trying to sell this in a church did not go over well.
No.
There's a lot of
We replaced the
That
holy
is a-
water with our hottest hot sauce. So that, you know.
yeah. You know, apparently there
Leo,
are
I
things
like
hot
that
that
idea.
fire the belt.
I like that idea though, Leo. I think Derek and I are going to talk about this afterwards.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, 3D printers are cheap enough now, and you know, they're wicked cheap, and you know, you can mass produce stuff. Just have the printer going, you know, create like a farm if you really get into it.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Anything's possible. At
We'll
the end
see.
of the day,
We'll
you guys
see.
really kind of decide one way or the other whether you come out and say it forwardly to us that you love a certain thing that we do. But like for instance, Gore Shriek 3, the newest Gore Shriek Resurrectus comes with a barf bag as well, monograph barf bag, and everybody has always loved the barf bag. We've been doing it since the first one, so now that's just become a staple. And the only way that we know that they like it is when we go through the extras. Once we get to the barf bag and we start talking about it, people just burst into laughter. So we're like, all right, well then, you know, this has got to be part of everything that we do when it comes to this.
All right, Derek, may I ask a dumb question? Has anyone actually used it?
Well, I always say
I
that
hope
it's
so.
usable. It is a medical grade barf bag. It's coated on the inside for leakage.
Okay.
And I always said that if you like the book, then
Uh-huh.
you can use the barf bag and put it on your wall. You can frame it. And if you hate the book, you can throw up into it. And that's both the barf bag and the book itself. You can throw up into the book. So
You know what I did?
I mean, really,
in
you
one
can
of
do
my
anything you want with it.
yes.
In one of my stories, I had a prize at this horror arcade thing that it was an adult diaper. There was like a black adult diaper with the logo on it.
Sexy.
So that if they like shit their pants or wet themselves during the thing, they were taken care of. I think it's something
Handy.
you should look into, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
just
I agree. I know the only reason I ask
the
is 'cause I
future.
remember like way back when I had Loot Crate, they'd done like an Infinity Gauntlet oven mitt that I think people actually tried using and people got hurt. So they had to like actually be like, yeah, guys, do not use this for actual like ovenry. This is simply
I mean,
for decorative use. And I'm like, then why did you make it an oven mitt? Like,
right.
Yeah.
you know,
Fuck.
so
Did they finally make the official oven mitt?
no,
oven mitt
they
version?
did not. It was there is still some sort of infinity creme brulee that has yet to be claimed by, you know, and then I was like, but how does he snap if it's an oven mitt? I was like, it's just gonna, I'm like, nope, can't do it. I was like, nope, the multiverse failed this, Thanos.
Back to the drawing board with that one.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, guys, we are coming a little bit on some time here, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. Really, both. I mean, Steve, always good seeing you. Derek, really nice to meet you.
Really
And
nice to meet
everything you guys are talking about sounds absolutely fantastic. And I'm fairly certain if there's anything that comes up, Kickstarter wise, anything, you know, our fellow our fellow Carrie will definitely make sure to promote that and just unbox everything and just hype all the stickers and the barf bag, and it'll be great.
Death certificates.
Sounds
We get death certificates.
You do get death certificates this time around, and it's signed by Dr. Tom Scullen himself.
Oh boy.
And every death will be unique.
Yeah, we have to
Every
write down
single
the
death
cause of
certificate.
death, so we're really going to embarrass
Yep.
everybody.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's something there.
Death
Oh
awesome.
boy. Well, like I was going to say, like, gentlemen, we are like when coming up, but if you guys, I mean, we kind of just have a little bit more of the show. So, I mean, if you two wanted to stay on, we just have a little bit of the news. And then I think that, Carrie, are there any Kickstarters that or is it just Just the news.
No, the most important Kickstarter still has like well over a month to go, and
Oh, yeah.
so gonna let it ride a little bit because it's building up its stretch goals. It's a Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. book, so it's
No.
gonna
Pass. They're going to get funded
Well-
like tomorrow.
Oh, they got funded like within the first 10 minutes or something like that.
yeah.
But we're gonna wait and let it build up a little bit before we.
I guarantee you half of those people thought it was going to be Kick-Ass like 6. They're, you know? So it was like, oh, these guys together again? Wow, yeah. And then, what is this? So okay, no problem.
Yeah.
But
To finish Drew's thought there, we have
Thank you, yeah.
we have 3 news stories we're going to cover. You're more than welcome to stay and talk about some comic news if you'd like, or if you're bored of us already, you can hit the leave studio button on the bottom.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. I do have to hit the drawing table and get a few hours in before sleep. If you guys would like, I can show you an original page from the book that's being worked on right now. Before we go. Would you guys dig that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
So this is what's being worked on tonight. This is
wow. Look at that. Oh, good God. Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
So just real briefly, we talked about how we have a Blu-ray as one of the extras, and that is actually a short film by one of our friends, a filmmaker. His name is Ryan Convery, and his company is Fatfoot Films. And this gentleman by the name of Daniel Black wrote a short story called Stray, which is essentially a werewolf mystery movie. I fell in love with it. It came out right around the time of COVID, so it didn't really get the release that we wished it did because the world shut down. But I took this character that was kind of like a nothing character inside of that movie and created a whole story around it. So that page you just saw is going to be a mini comic that's inside of the Blu-ray. It's going to be in color, a color version of the story that's inside of Gore Shriek. And what you just saw is the front cover of that mini comic.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're absolutely insane. The next book, the extra is going to be like, a thumbs up. Right, Drew?
Absolutely there, buddy.
For sure.
Absolutely. I listen, I'm kind of like, some part of me is seeing that. I'm like, no, don't ink it. Keep it as this. Like, that looked awesome. I was like, God damn, that's fucking cool.
So that was penciled by Alex Sarabia, who we talked about, and I'm making over his work in that in particular piece.
You should go. You take all the time, put on all the music, just get in that Zen inking space. Yeah, no, thank you. So sorry to inconvenience you, sir. Godspeed.
No inconvenience whatsoever. It was a pleasure meeting you guys. Carrie, great seeing you again as always. And thank you so much for having us on tonight and spending some time learning more about what we do. It means to small-time publishers like us, it means the world. So thank you guys very much.
Oh, well, come back whenever. You're good.
All right, we'll do. Thanks, guys.
Just a heads up, when you hit the leave studio button, it's going to prompt you for an uploads page. If you can just leave that until it's completed, we'd greatly appreciate it. If there's any issues, we can send you a link afterwards.
Okay, sounds great, Leo. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right.
Take care.
Later.
Good night, guys.
See you, dude.
Bye-bye.
So I'm actually going to leave too, but thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
and
totally.
we appreciate, and I appreciate your constant support. Hey, I love you guys. All right.
Hey,
I've said
all
right. Okay.
Before you go, just real quick, I know we were talking Transformers in the beginning. You know how there's Voyager class and there's different classes.
There's different. Yeah, I don't know them, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
So I saw this today. Let me share my screen. This is friggin' hilarious. It's now being referenced as the divorce class. People are 3D printing Transformers. This is a 40-inch tall Triptychon. The same guy made a Metroplex There's a
We made a Metroplex. Oh my god, that's so crazy.
Yeah, you
Oh,
made a
the
6
divorce
foot tall
class.
divorce
Oh,
class.
God.
Oh my god, it's so insane. I love it.
Yeah.
3D printing, man. 3D printing. No, it's a good suggestion on the hot sauce bottle. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that is insane. Divorce class. Well, aptly named. But yeah, thank you once again, and I'll leave you to it with the news and stuff. But I'll see you guys later, and I'm sure I'll be chatting with you guys sooner than later anyway.
Absolutely.
I think this is actually I think this is my 4th time being on the show this year, technically, because I was a guest host. Maybe my 3rd.
Yeah.
Maybe this is.
I think it's like your 3rd or 4th. Yeah, it's been a minute, but
yeah.
No, doing good, bud.
Anytime.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
And yeah, we'll catch you in the ether. As it were.
See you in the
Thanks,
nightmares,
later, guys.
That's Steve.
Yeah. Okay, before we go on to news, just wanted to show you real quick. I had a comic box come in. So Superman Unlimited #1 with the different covers for the new movie.
Six different covers.
Well, I only got 3 of them here. I think I have another order coming in.
Yep. Proving my point.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But without further ado, let me find
news time.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
I just need to say that if you stayed this far and you've suddenly been dissatisfied in the show, no refunds. Okay. Just had to get that out there.
Much appreciated. Thanks for the warning there.
No give backsies. All right. Let's do the news. Okay, so starting with the news. When this was launched, I feel like the internet shook. Not exploded, but definitely shook. So we are finally seeing a crossover between Marvel and DC. And no, we're not going to see, at this time, a return of the 90s DC versus Marvel, or fingers crossed, the Amalgam Universe. This is something different. So we're going to see Marvel, DC, Deadpool, Batman #1. So this is the first of 2 crossovers between Marvel and DC, which will then be followed by Batman Deadpool #1, produced by DC, which will be coming out in November this year. So this story, Deadpool Batman, is written by former Spider-Man writer, co-writer for Deadpool Wolverine, Zeb Wells, and drawn by we've heard the name a bunch tonight, superstar Greg Capullo. So I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome. So in addition to the main story, the one shot is going to feature just a lineup of backup adventures, each one featuring Marvel and DC character matchups. Details of that we'll make sure we get into as they're revealed. But essentially, it's the crossover you never expected. For Wade Wilson has been hired for a job in Gotham City. But will the world's greatest detective help Wade or destroy Wade? So this is going to be on sale September 17th. So yeah, so this is going to be fantastic. And when the release, Zeb Wells did reveal that in Batman we found someone who has even less time for Deadpool's antics than Wolverine, but a citywide threat from the Joker makes strange bedfellows. And apparently it's been, quote unquote, a blast of letting Deadpool loose in Gotham City. So Capullo is basically saying this is likely a high point of his career. And we all know Greg Capullo's career. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine that? The antics between Deadpool and Joker? Like, what the fuck is that going to be?
It's
That
going to be
would
pretty great.
be
But no. See, Leo, that's not the thing that I'm going to leave you on. But because according to my sources, Batman Deadpool will be written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Dan Mora. So
yes.
Well, first thing first, this is Grant Morrison's return to DC after God know how many years that they've uh, did a DC story. I honestly can't remember. It's been a minute. And then I know how much of a Dan Moore fanboy you are. So
Oh yeah,
those
he's
two,
killing it. You know.
I know, with more creators to be revealed. That's November 2025. And I mean, come on. I mean, look, that's a Dan Moore right there. And that looks stunning. So again, September, Deadpool, Batman, November, Batman, Deadpool. Please, everybody, talk to your LCS. Reserve your copy. I'm feeling these are going to sell like wildfire.
Add it to your pull list right now.
Here you go. All right. So next up. Right. So coming this summer from Boom Studios, we haven't heard from them in a bit. In working together with Hasbro, we are seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TMNT 3. So we're having Ryan Parrott and then Vincenzo Federici coming back. They're both doing this story. This is the third team up between both teams. So the synopsis with this is, with Rita and Krang defeated, the bad guys are not cutting the Turtles and Power Rangers no slack. So we're going to have Lord Zed teaming up with Shredder with a new plan to take down these radical teen heroes. And apparently, if these guys don't act quickly, they might succeed. So this will be available in comic shops August 13th. So it features the main cover, which is by Alessio Zano. And then you had variants by Tula Late, James Ducoy, Declan Shalvey, Paulina Genshu, Mateus Santaluco, and Dan Mora. All of these look stunning. I mean, Leo, just run through them. They're just all gorgeous.
So this is Dan Mora.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is James Stoke.
Okay.
And Paulina Ganachu.
Yep.
And then Mateus.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
He does such good covers.
I didn't see the Tulotai, or I only found those 4. So
it's fine. But Carrie, we go off what the announcement was. So, but that's just what they said. But still, that one's my favorite. The Brady Bunch cover.
Yeah,
that's just so fucking funny. Look at that.
I love this.
Yeah, right. That's so good. But yeah, like I said, if you've been a fan of the first 2, then you might as well just order this one too. So, all right, and then last but not least, coming back to Marvel with Thor issue 1. So we've known that there is an impending demise in Al Ewing's Immortal Thor. It's been teased for months. So we're going to see that moment come up in Immortal Thor issue 25 in July. So then we're going to see Al Ewing launch a new run of Thor along with artist Pasquale Ferry, who previously worked on Thor during Matt Fraction's run. Seeing a new status quo for the God of Thunder that, quote unquote, is unlike anything in his 60-year history. The synopsis reads, the Norse myths tell of gods who walk the earth, doing great deeds for the mortals who believed in them. But Asgard isn't real and never was. The gods never soared in our skies, never stood with our heroes, never fought for kindness or justice. It was all just a story. No one's going to help us, but somewhere in the city, a man is waking up. A man with a hammer. So you have all of that, plus, of course, a stunning cover by Alex Ross. This is on sale August 27th. And essentially, according to Al Ewing, what we've been seeing, this is just the end. What Immortal Thor 25 It's just the end of Act 1. So this is this Act 2. So Thor is facing new threats in a place he's never been, and there are so many questions. Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he immortal? Or more? So you're gonna have to read to find out. So I'd say check this out, especially if you've been digging the Immortal Thor run. Yeah, check this out. But this sounds really fucking cool. So
Very cool.
yep. Right, I know it totally does.
Yeah.
But yeah, but honestly, Leo, Carrie, that's it. That's all the news for this week.
Woohoo!
Yes, it is.
I know. So officially one of the shortest shows.
Exactly.
So unless Leo is gonna have something he's gonna throw out, but I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. No.
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 What I will throw out is Drew, who do we have next week?
Oh, thank you, Leo. And of course. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for Splash Pages. Tune in next week when we're gonna have Tom Nguyen is gonna be coming back. We're really excited to talk to him. He's going to be making a Splash Pages debut. It's super pumped. And we're also looking forward to seeing him at Terrific Con because it's officially 2 months till Terrific Con. So we're going to see him and a bunch of other people. We're already working hard on that. So trust me, if you're going to the convention, look for our booth. But Tom is coming on. We're going to talk to him about a bunch of his work. Super fucking pumped. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
All right,
Well,
Leo, sign us off.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know how to find me, but more importantly, follow these awesome people. Check out Rough House Publishing. Links are in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Head on over to our YouTube page. You know, we got a lot of awesome content going up there. That's different than what you're seeing here in the live show. We cut up a bunch of stuff. There's specials, everything up there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Also, I do a couple other shows, Comics Paradox, which Brandon and Justin and myself talk about, like alternate reality stories, think like Elseworlds or What Ifs, that type of thing. And The Dork Knight, which is all about Batman. So it's two people that absolutely love Batman, and Brandon. So yeah, and Carrie.
Hey, look me up on Facebook. That's the easiest way to find me right now. Links to all my author stuff, to my Owlite stuff is going up there. And check out Owlite tomorrow night. I gotta double check with Jenny on the time. But they're doing a show on how to survive a con. And both like as an attendee, as a guest, as a vendor, as like whatever level, like how to prepare yourself and what to expect when you're going to a convention. And she's got a lot of people helping send in advice and stuff for it. So if you want to learn how to attend a con or be in a con or do whatever at a con, check out the show tomorrow. Just look up the Owlite Network. You can find that from my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. A lot of hype here. Hey everybody, thank you again. Thank you again for joining us, Mr. Leo. Thank you for joining us. We're really always glad to have everybody. Whether it's 3 people, 300, hopefully 300. It's always good. And thank you so much for giving us something to do on Tuesday. If you need to chat with me, Drew Malo on Facebook, Ghostbusters 1984 on Instagram. The same thing with Blue Sky. I'm really working to get back into Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm generally busy. There's a lot going on. So send a message at your own peril. That's all I'm saying.
Awesome. With that, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye, buddy.